Hey, y'all. Welcome back to this episode of the Yes We Can podcast. I'm your host, Kira Andersen. And today I have a very special woman on the podcast. Her name is Jani Bunn. She's a local St. Louis mother. She is on to share her story of losing her beautiful daughter, Nora. She is here to just be here and be vulnerable and share her story. So I look forward to talking with you today, Jani.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah.
Probably some tears shed today. I'm not quite far enough in this grief journey to share our story and not get emotional.
I mean, I still get emotional. It's been 3 years and I talk about it all the time. So, and that's really where and why I have this show is to allow people to share their story. Because as we talk about it, we're able to process. And those people watching and viewing and hearing your story and, there's going to be tears in the audience today.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we relate.
Yeah.
And everybody goes through grief in one way, shape, or form in their life, no doubt. So thank you for coming on and being vulnerable about yours.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start with, Jani, how did we meet, by the way? I don't remember. I really don't.
We met because our mutual, beautiful soul, Mary Coltrider, connected us.
Yes. So you were on Show Me St. Louis.
So Mary covered Nora.
Yes.
When Nora wrote her book, which I know we'll talk about.
Yes.
So Nora was near the end of her journey on this earth.
Yes.
And Mary, who is, as you and I both know, just as adorable off camera as what everyone would see on.
Amazing.
Yes.
If you don't watch Show Me St. Louis, Channel 5, Mary Coltrider is the sweetest, cutest, amazing gift from God. You want to talk about a light?
Yes.
And she's getting married this month.
I know.
So exciting.
But she's like that all the time.
All the time.
That's why
it's not just on the show.
Yes.
And her future husband, I'm like, you are a lucky man.
No, for real, right? What a catch.
My gosh.
I know. I adore her. And then as I've gotten to know her better, I share with people all the time, what you see on that show is that times 10.
Uh-huh.
So she covered Nora, and then we stayed in touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, of course, started a foundation, which I know we'll talk about. And then Mary had me on the show 2 months ago. It was Brain Cancer Awareness Month.
Was it 2 months ago?
Yes.
This is what I'm... Whoa.
Yes, I know.
Seems like yesterday.
And then as we were departing that day, she said to me, "You need to meet my friend Kira." And I said, "Okay." And she said, she does a podcast and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that sounds great. I think that maybe you can relate that in your grief journey, sometimes people offer things or say things like, "You need to meet." And inside you're like, okay, because it feels overwhelming.
Yes.
Every day feels overwhelming,
Correct.
right? When you're trying to just walk through life.
Survive.
And so I remember thinking that, I'll be honest with you, like, okay. But inside I was
someday.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I met you. We met at Coldie's.
So Mary sent me your contact info. I called you right away because I was going on the show.
That's right. We had the
next day.
Yes.
And that's how I am. I'm like, okay, who is it? Give me their cell phone. I'm giving them a call.
Yes.
And we met at Coldie's.
Yeah.
That's right. And hit it off right away. Talked forever.
Yeah.
And then we met again.
Yes.
And again. And we kept seeing each other there. I'm like, okay, God, we got it. We're going to be friends. We've got this.
Yeah.
And then I asked you to come on the show. And I'm so grateful that you said yes.
And I'm so grateful that Mary connected us.
I know.
And that inside I felt overwhelmed. But on the outside I said yes.
I know.
Because I am truly so grateful to be here today and share our story.
I love it. I know. And it's so true. I'm glad you mentioned that. In grief and suffering, when you lose somebody close to you, everything is overwhelming.
Yes.
Everything. And even the simplest tasks.
Yes.
I mean, the simplest tasks can seem like you're climbing a mountain.
Yes.
So I 100% relate and can understand, and hopefully it's not too overwhelming to be here today.
No.
Okay.
No, because I prayed. We prayed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all.
Yep.
And I think what I think it's important to share about grief and the difference in our journeys and what you said to me at one of our Caldies coffee dates, the many leading up to this, is, I met you and you are so full of light and so full of energy. And I, at this stage, feel like one of the characters from Inside Out, anxiety, sadness, and your joy. But I'm sure on the inside, a lot of times you don't feel that way either. But you said, I made a comment to you and you said to me, well, I'm down the road. I'm down the road from you. So you need to remember that, because I sit there with other people who love me so much, or want to converse with me, want to do anything they can to hear my story. And inside, I'm thinking to myself, I can't match their energy. I've got very little to offer right now,
totally.
and that put me at ease, of just reminding me I'm ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you be who you are right now. You don't need to be anybody but you, because I do get in social situations or around people who they just want to bring me joy. They want to bring our family joy.
But
they
nothing
want
is
to have fun
going to.
No, because inside
You lost your...
Yes. Yeah. So I just wanted to share how much, I appreciated you putting me at ease, because every day is hard.
It is hard. And Jani, I was there. Remember that I plowed through for the first year and a half, and then not all year, but almost the whole year of 2025, I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
There was not joy. I was not smiling. I remember when I started laughing again towards the end of last year, and I'm like, oh, that's what laughing's like.
Yeah.
Like, you put on a fake face and you fake it, and going out in public,
Yes.
in social settings, you try to force yourself to do it. You're miserable. And anxiety and depression was eating me up inside. So that's the thing, is that I can empathize, because I know I've been there.
Yeah.
And yes, I am in a good place, and I do feel joy most of the time, but it was not always like that. So anyway, let's get back to who you are. I always like to have my people, my guests, share just so we can get to know who you are. Where you're from? Are you from St. Louis? What's your story?
I grew up in a very small town, almost straight east of St. Louis, a small town called Patoka. And it's an hour and a half away. A lot of St. Louisans are familiar with Carlisle Lake. It's on the far side of Carlisle Lake. So I always crack the joke that St. Louisans look at Carlisle Lake as for sailing.
Yeah.
And the side of the lake I grew up on was John boats and trot lines.
Okay.
And very rural.
Okay.
No one was sailing on
No
the
one's
side
sailing.
of the lake.
Correct.
That I grew
Okay.
up on.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Grew up on a grain and dairy farm that my grandparents started, and then my parents both went away to college, and my dad came back and took over the farm from my grandparents. And I am one of three. I'm the only girl. I have two older brothers. So as far as farm life goes, I was spoiled and I got away with a lot.
Did you?
And my brothers worked really hard. And I did not work nearly as hard, but I did. I did have to milk cows.
Yeah.
And I was driving a tractor, and at 8 and 9 years old. And I had those long days in the hayfield where I drove and I watched all the guys pick up the bales and stack. And, but really had the best upbringing, when I look back on it. My grandmother was 2 miles away, my aunt and uncle, my cousins.
I love it.
And it was just a constant summer of, riding bikes and playing in the hayloft.
I love
and
that.
No one knew where we were. And
Yeah.
it felt like abuse growing up.
Neglect. Yeah. I get it.
Yes,
But really, it's the good old days.
But now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, take us back to those days.
Right?
Yes.
Well, that's so funny, because Kyle grew up in a small farm town.
Yeah.
So my kids now, Cora just spent an extra week there. We went there for a few weeks this summer, and same thing.
Yeah.
We're jumping on hay bales, four-wheeling, feeding the cows, fixing tractors, driving tractor. I mean, it's like that life is just, and so Kyle's brother and sister-in-law, their children are amazing. Yeah. I mean, they grew up on a farm, and and grandparents are right down the road. All of it, same thing. It's like, it's a beautiful life. It really is.
Yes. And my brother that farms, his kids are such hard workers. My niece Madison, who's now a mother of two, but she was 16 and, planting beans and corn. And they're just really amazing kids. And, all credit to my brother for staying there and raising those kids and in that way. And that's why once I became a mother, we went there and still go there now as much as we could because I wanted to get my girls out of the city and wanted them to get dirty and
I know.
Pull some ticks off and
maybe not ticks. Okay. But same thing. My kids are in an outdoor school, like they do outdoor classroom, and then we go back to the farm. And even the owner of this entrepreneur club, Scott, he and his wife have a huge house out in Pacific, and they do, they've got a barn and tractors and chickens. And I'm like, my kids need to come and learn how to do this stuff.
Totally.
So I truly believe in that because we don't have that where I live.
Yeah. I know. When our girls, when we would go there and they would go outside and play, I realized like it's the first time they've been able to play with me not looking over them. We go to the playground or whatever we do. You're all, and it is just the way of the world. You're helicopter parenting.
We have to be now.
Yeah, we have to be. And so there, to be able to tell them, go outside. I don't care what you do.
Like back in the day.
Yes.
I remember at like 5 and 6, vividly remember this. My parents let me go. I would walk down to the park by myself, ride the bike, like for hours.
By
myself.
No one was looking
find
for
other
you.
friends. Nothing.
No.
I'm like, was it neglect or truly? Because I do feel like maybe it was a little bit of abuse.
No
there.
one was asking if we had been drinking water.
No.
Do you have your water bottle? Nobody cared.
Are you kidding?
Nobody cared.
No one cared.
Yeah. So it was a wonderful and beautiful upbringing.
Yeah.
And then my mom was everything in our little small town. She was a volleyball coach. She actually started the Patoka ambulance service with a handful of others. They raised money in the late 80s because our small town had no ambulance service. So, if someone got injured, especially I'm sure my mom, who was a very strong character, was thinking if my kids get hurt, I want them to have access, And so they raised funds and they started this ambulance service in our hometown, which still goes on today.
I love it.
All volunteer run. She was a substitute teacher. She was a Sunday school teacher. She was everything. And as I share my story here in a little bit, a lot of the, I think, mental and emotional toughness comes from her because she was tough. She was tough. She was like I said, a teacher. So she was that typical authoritarian, but very soft inside. But the kids never knew it. They all thought she was mean, but then we knew at home she was just a softie. So
I love that.
Yeah. So my mom was very hands-on with all three of us. My parents never missed a sporting event. We were all heavily involved in sports in our small town and just a lot of activities. They never missed anything. Even my dad milking cows, which is a 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. 24/7.
Yep.
They were always there.
I love that.
So then I stayed at home and went to junior college. I played volleyball in junior college. It paid for my education. And then I moved to St. Louis and I played volleyball at Webster University, which helped.
Awesome.
Yeah. Offset my education. It was D3, but it was awesome. And from there, I moved to Fort Worth, Texas, and I went to grad school at Texas Christian University. And it was the time of my life. I bartended at Billy Bob's Texas, the world's largest honky tonk.
I bartended in college too and had an amazing time.
Amazing. My husband always teases me, if you could go back, what time? He's like, I know what time you'd go back to. I'm like, absolutely. I should have been a Texan.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from there, I actually started a career in broadcast journalism at a small NBC affiliate in North Texas. And then moved to Decatur, Illinois, and was the producer for an ABC station.
Awesome. Did you always want to go into that line of work?
I did. Yes. Okay. I loved writing and storytelling. But I didn't love the money that came with.
I know.
And my dad, who raised his kids on a dairy farm and always struggled. And my first job in broadcast journalism was like, you're making how much money? You could work for me. You could milk cows and make more money.
That's not my passion, Dad.
Yes, exactly. So I did love it, but I definitely wanted to make more money. So ultimately I went into sales, and long story short, I ended up back in St. Louis and worked for the St. Louis Convention
Center.
Visitors Commission.
Commission.
St.
Okay,
Louis
it's a mouthful.
Convention and Visitors Commission.
Okay.
And sold large conventions, sold the city of St. Louis.
Okay.
And then moved to Hyatt.
Okay.
And then met my husband.
Okay. Where'd you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend.
Oh, the best way.
My dear friend Jane and I were volunteering for Make-A-Wish. So we were wish granters for Make-A-Wish, and she introduced me to Brent. Yes.
I
So
love
we
that.
met through a mutual friend. And when I met Brent, he was a single dad. He had Jack. Jack was 13 going on 14. I was single and no children. And
Never married, no children.
Never, yeah. So
And is Brent from St. Louis?
he is from a small town called Gillespie, which is about an hour north of St. Louis.
Okay.
So, so we both lived in St. Louis, and, I wanted a family, and he said, well, I'll have more kids. And I said, okay. But he said, if I want more than one, because he had Jack, and Jack's mom remarried, and she had 3 little ones, but there was such a big age gap between her 3 little ones and Jack.
Yes.
And so he just didn't want, he said he was just concerned that Jack kind of grew up on his own island, wonderful side with his mom and stepdad and their 3 little ones. But then if I have one, I want 2. And I sounded good to me.
Okay.
So we had Reese in 2015. Just the most darling, sweet, chubby little girl. And then I was good because childbirth was hard. And I thought, I agreed to this deal to have 2.
But let's just focus on this one for now.
Yes.
Right? And how were you guys a little older? How were you?
Yeah, so geriatric parents.
Okay, same.
I was, 37.
Okay, I was only 30, but
Yeah, you were not
31.
geriatric.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. You were 37.
37, and he would have been, 43, 44. Yeah.
And what did he do? Did you already mention that?
He's in healthcare software sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both of you in sales.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jack had to adjust to this little baby in the house.
Of course.
Right? And he's at a pivotal age, trying to get used to me. And then this little baby comes along.
It's a lot.
It was a lot for him.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I am able to give him a lot more credit than what I did then as a new mother.
Yeah.
And, it was really hard for him to get used to that. And he handled it like a champ.
Awesome.
He went to SLU High at that time. So, here we have this teen in and out of the house and a little baby. And Brent was traveling a lot. But ultimately, here comes Nora in 2017.
2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years later. And
How, did you have support with your oldest? Like your parents came? His
So
parents?
my dad actually passed away in 2006.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here 1 minute, gone the next of a massive heart attack. And so,
sorry.
he was only 63.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a big shock to our family.
Yes.
But as you know now, looking back, he went to eternity and he didn't suffer. And I know a lot of people can relate of having to care for our parents in their later years and seeing them suffer. And
Yes, it's difficult.
My dad had a heart attack in between farms in the same area where he was born. My grandmother actually had him at home. So he was born and went to heaven within a 2-mile radius. Yeah. And my uncle was with him, holding him on the road. And he was having this heart attack, and my dad was saying air. He put his hands up to his chest.
Yeah.
And my uncle's holding him, waiting on the ambulance that my mom has helped start, right? All these years later, he had called 911, and they're in the country, and my uncle's holding him, and my dad saying air, air. My uncle thought he meant he wasn't getting any airflow, of course. And the last thing that my dad said before he went to heaven was, I see angels in the air. And so at that time in 2006, hugely impactful.
Yeah.
But not in the way it is now,
Right.
after living life and having to send our daughter to heaven. So I digress with that story. But Reese comes along, and yes, so my husband's mom lives in Gillespie, so just an hour away, and he has a sister and a brother. And then my mom, an hour and a half away, so she would come here all the time and help. And then I'm close with my brothers and their wives, and lots of nieces and nephews that are older. So Reese was definitely the focal point, because she was the new baby in the family. And then we actually have really close neighbors that become like grandparents to our girls.
I love that.
Right around the corner.
Awesome.
Lots of help. Lots of
Awesome.
love and support. And I definitely had a network of, I need a break, because staying home with your children is not easy mentally and emotionally.
It's not for everybody.
No, and it's isolating. And
It is.
I
Did you have postpartum at all?
I did, but I didn't recognize it. I just couldn't understand why I was sad, and I was too proud to share with anyone how sad I was, and it created, I think, a lot of angst in my marriage. I thought, why do I feel so sad? I get to stay home with my baby at that time. It was just Reese at that time. Yeah. And what's wrong with me? And I'm
supposed to be, this is supposed to be natural. I'm a mother. I have this beautiful baby, this beautiful life.
Yes. Why am I not just wake up happy every day?
I'm anxious. I'm sad. What is it? And it's the hormone. Our hormones go nuts.
Yes. Yeah. And it's isolating.
It's isolating. And it's a huge life change. And I don't think people really realize it until you get into that role.
No.
And especially high achievers, people that have had a career.
Yes.
Right? And that's the other part about getting married a little bit older, when you know who you are. And having children, it is a drastic change.
Yes. A huge change.
Life adjustment. And it's beautiful and amazing, but it's still a change. There's an and there.
Yes. And I always say that as a high achiever, I really staked a lot of my value on a spreadsheet and a monetary goal. And, I met my monthly quota, and I'm going to have my one-on-one, and my boss is just patting my back, and they're telling
100%.
me, you can do work on this.
Yep.
You leave that meeting
Yep.
and you're told, I'm going to work on this. You know what you need to do to get there. And parenthood is not like that.
Nope, sure isn't.
No one is evaluating you. No one is telling you what a great job you're doing.
No pats on the back.
No. There's no quota to me for
There's
each
no
quarter.
award, a reward. You're not up on stage accepting an award.
There's no commission.
No commission.
Nothing.
Nope.
And I would always laugh if Brent was having a challenge on a spreadsheet, and he would come up, from the basement and want to ask me a question, and I would just be like, let me help. Yes, I would love to, because I had this beautiful little life that I was getting zero feedback on if I was doing a good job or not. So it was, I went to counseling. I did end up going to counseling.
Did you seek any therapy?
Yes, yeah. And she talked me through it. And it's just that adjustment, that quick adjustment of what you've always known, and now you're in charge of a life, you're getting no feedback, and you got to make yourself happy. And when I started doing that, when I realized, okay, if I prioritize my health, I want to work out, I feel really good when I work out, and it makes me a better mom, a better friend, a better wife.
And you have to fight the guilt, because when you do things for yourself,
yes,
there is guilt, and there's pressure from outside too, and people looking at you, and you have to be like, okay, listen, like,
yes,
you can't pour from an empty cup. My therapist is telling me to prioritize this. I am going to prioritize this no matter what you think, because I am a better person and a better wife and a better mom because of it.
Exactly.
So you fight for it. You got to fight for your life.
That's right. That
You
is
really,
right.
really do.
And that's exactly right. And when I started doing that, everything, things shifted for me. And my husband was sweet. He got me a gym membership with childcare.
Yeah, perfect.
So then
Best gift ever.
Yes, Nora comes along and he's traveling. I remember one time he was traveling and I had a baby crying, another toddler learning to potty, the dog puked.
Yep.
The cat was screaming.
Yep. Sounds about right. Chaos.
I just thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
So, everything, I feel like things started turning when I realized that I had to fix myself first. And then I could make everyone else around me happier. I could be happy.
And then that will bleed onto others. And also,
Yes.
I want to make note here, the spouse, so the husband, it's also a very life-changing experience for them. And their hormones don't go nuts. So when we have a baby, our hormones go from way up here to nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And then some of us can nurse, are able to nurse and want to, and that's a whole nother layer. And so, not defend, but recognize
100%.
Husbands also are going through this too. And they're like, what happened to my wife? Why is she acting like this? I have no idea. She's so snippy. She's tired. And it's like,
I can do nothing to make her happy.
I can do nothing. Right. And you can't.
Nope.
You just got to be there and support. So recognize, men, we know.
Yes.
We understand. And we thank you for your empathy and your patience and support.
I'm glad you said that because I know my husband has put up with a lot.
I mean, I'm sure they have stories. And when they go have their guys' nights, I mean, maybe they don't talk about it, but they probably all have some really funny stories. Yeah. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't think Brent talks about it. He probably wants to suppress it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's kind of what men do oftentimes.
Later, he and I were in marriage counseling and I gave the analogy that we're driving along and we're both in separate vehicles and I get stuck in the mud and he goes on and he gets to the destination and he's calling me, where are you? And I'm like, well, I'm stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
And so he comes back to get me. And in that moment, I want to tell him how I got stuck in the mud.
Yep.
How I feel stuck in the mud.
Right.
I want him to sit there and listen.
Yeah. And then I want you to pull me out of the mud.
Yes, I want you to pull me out of the mud. That's exactly it. Meanwhile, he just wants to get in my car.
We'll leave the car there.
We'll get it later.
Yeah.
I'll call someone
Yeah.
to get your car. Let's go have a glass of wine at where I. Yes. And I'm like, no.
No.
I need you.
Right here, right now.
Sit in this mud hole with me.
Sit in the mud with me.
Yes. And that was, I think, I wish, if maybe you need to have him on and hear what he has to say. But to me,
I will. Will he come on? I'd love to have him on.
He would come on for sure.
All right,
I
let's
think
get
it
him
would be, that moment was, I think, really important for our marriage, for him to understand what I was thinking. And then I recognized, number one, what I needed from him. And number two, that sometimes I do need to just get out of my own car and get in with him. And then he recently started going to counseling and he comes home several weeks ago and he said, well, I'm a hole plugger. And I was like, yes, you are. But we all have our thing, right? Yeah. And I think that goes back also in line with the story about stuck in the mud. Like he's plugging the holes. Get in the car with me and let's go. Forget about this problem. We can get through it together. Let's go. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And it comes back to our grief journey right now.
Yeah.
Because I need to sit in it and he's so different.
Right.
And us trying to navigate that right now through our marriage is challenging, as it should be.
Incredibly challenging.
Incredibly challenging. It's not easy. It shouldn't be easy. But I guess I hope and I pray that we're both in counseling. We've been through enough counseling that in this journey where he's plugging holes and I'm like, nope, I am sitting right here and I want you to be miserable with me.
There's a compromise.
We can find that compromise, right?
And you guys have you believe in God. You're faithful people,
we are very
right?
faithful,
And reminding ourselves that truly God is in control here, right?
Yes.
He created this marriage and these children in the image of Him, right? And if that's your foundation, nothing can shake you.
No.
Now, a child getting sick and then ultimately passing is the most challenging thing for a marriage.
Yes.
Oftentimes it breaks marriages up.
Yes, it does.
But if you have that foundation, right, to stand on,
yes.
It's, you just keep going and holding on to that.
Yes.
And knowing it's going to be okay.
Amen.
But it does. I worked for with an organization for kids with serious and fatal skin conditions, and nearly all of the parents are divorced, gone. Or one of them gets hooked on drugs, or almost every single one.
Yep.
We're talking hundreds of kids. Mm-hmm. It's so sad.
It is. And I can relate
Yes.
to, I think Brent and I can both relate to that. I mean, I remember in the spring, I was sitting on the couch just crying. Brent was traveling. Mm-hmm. I'm doing everything I can do. In counseling, I'm exercising. Mm-hmm. I'm on a low dose antidepressant. Mm-hmm. I feel like I am doing everything I can do to be healthy, and I am so sad. And there was a moment where I thought to myself, I could feel how a person could be vulnerable enough to seek out very unhealthy things,
yes,
like drugs, like
100%, and to relieve the pain.
Yes, and I fortunately I'm strong enough, and I thought in that moment I thought, oh my gosh, and I'm just to be vulnerable, I thought, gosh, I should go do drugs. It would make me feel a lot better. And then I laughed at myself. It's not a story I'm proud of to share, but it's honest. And then I thought, well, I don't know anyone who does drugs.
And I love how you're like, drugs. Like, do you even know what drugs you would do to relieve this?
Exactly. And I'm terrified of a fentanyl overdose. Yeah. And I would warn all the young children as we all do in our lives, and so it was a very split second. And I shared it with my counselor, whom I adore. She's wonderful. And she was like, I don't think you would make a very good drug addict. Yes. So that's not a choice for me in grief. However, in all seriousness, when Nora was diagnosed, I think we all understand in that trauma, it would be very easy to turn and make very unhealthy decisions. And it is hard work. And I am thankful to be a Christian.
Yes.
And have that rock to stand on. Amen. Because even just with Brent and I in our marriage and trying to get through, it gets shaky.
Yes.
It gets really shaky. And, and this, you really have to lean in on God and your emotional and mental maturity. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it's always there.
Right. And sometimes the maturity process is currently happening and you just have to keep going. And I do want to mention here, I'm speaking from a widow. A lot of widows, Christian women, reach for the bottle, especially that first year. You're in shock. I didn't. When Kyle got diagnosed, I was like, I'm not putting a depressant in my body, and I haven't since. It's my choice. But a lot of widows do reach for the bottle.
Yes.
Wine, whatever your cocktail of choice is, to relieve that pain.
Yes.
But the problem is when you do that, because it's a depressant, it's a vicious cycle and it keeps going.
Yes.
It keeps going. And a lot of widows come out of it after that first year. And I'm generalizing things, right? Like not everybody does. But Absolutely. I've been in touch with enough and dove really deep with a lot of widows about their grief journeys, and it's common.
Yes.
So those of you watching, you're not alone. There's nothing to be we're not shaming you or shameful about it. It's okay. Give yourself, some empathy and some compassion, but realize like there are really other things to help you through the grief.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I am hugely empathetic. To these situations now in a way that I never you just don't understand, if you haven't suffered great loss and had great trauma and you see someone who has and they've made a poor choice, it is very easy to be like, you'd think after such a hard time they would make a better choice. It doesn't work that way.
No, you're in survival mode and you're really grasping for anything to help.
Yes.
Because you're drowning.
Every day your eyes open and it is gray.
And you want to grab that life vest or that buoy to come up for air, and you're reaching for anything. So it's completely understandable. And, I hope people, especially women, don't feel alone in that.
I know.
And know that we're in this together. And I say this almost every podcast and I mean it. It's, we all go through hard things.
Yes.
And it's not if something hard in your life happens, it's when.
That's right.
And, you cannot compare the tragedy to tragedy. People do that often with me. And I'm like, it's not, you can't.
there is no comparison.
There's no comparison.
No.
Tragedy is tragedy. Grief is grief.
Yes. And I go back to, we are all divinely made in God's image.
Yes.
And I think that just for me with child loss, I could be in a room with a million mothers and we've all lost our child, but we all feel so lonely because our child was made in God's image, and the only one, special, the only one. And so it's just such a devastating and isolating journey, and there is no comparison because that person you lost, Kyle, Nora, there's no one else like them.
No, there never has and never will be.
No. And so, anyone who is listening that may have those dark thoughts or have made a bad choice, we've all been there.
We've been there.
Yeah.
And you will get through it one step at a time.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about Sweet Nora.
Yeah.
So Sweet Nora comes 2 years after
Reese. And Nora, in the first, I would say 24 hours of her life, made it very clear that she was going to lead.
Okay. And how was your pregnancy with her, by the way?
Oh, magical.
Okay.
It was great.
Okay.
Yes, it was wonderful. As you know, as any pregnancy can be when you have a toddler and you're geriatric age, it was wonderful. Yeah. And I delivered this healthy baby. And she was just so different than Reese. She just made it very clear. You knew what she wanted. And she was not changing her mind. And it was always that way from the moment she was born until the moment she left us to go to heaven. So it was very sweet to see the differences in Reese and Nora's personalities. As you know, you have 3 kids, same parents, and they're so different.
So different.
And Reese was, overall pretty laid back, and Nora was not. And Nora was not a good sleeper, but Reese was a daddy's girl, and Nora loved her mama. And we always laughed that, if she could have just crawled back up in the womb every night, that's what she would have done.
My middle daughter, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Sweet little Leah.
Yes.
She would right now crawl back into my womb.
Absolutely. Yes. So we, Brent was traveling. I have these 2 little girls. With my upbringing and brothers and on a farm, I thought for sure if God ever gave me children, I remember thinking he'll give me boys. Yeah. I won't know what to do with girls. I was a tomboy, raised rough and tumble. And then I get these 2 girls, and I loved it. I loved being a girl mom, but especially when they got to the 3 and 5, because then they really started playing together, and you're out of the napping. Yes, no more bottles, and that was wonderful. But as we talked, it's isolating, and it comes with its own set of challenges. So when 3 and 5 rolled along, and I saw them actually become playmates and start working their way into being best friends, that's when I feel like I hit my stride as a mom. Because we could go, and Brent was traveling, and I wanted Brent to be able to travel. Yeah, he's supporting our family and know that things were held down at home. Yeah. And it was just a really great time. COVID hit, and COVID actually turned out really well for our family. We did great. Yeah, we did great. Yeah. And then I was working part-time with Merritt's, and I ended up losing my job through COVID, which was such a blessing. And
it always is.
Yeah, it the biggest blessing. So we get through COVID, and the girls are into school. Nora's pre-K. And
had Nora had any health issues up until this point?
Nothing. Okay. We had 2 bouncy, beautiful, feisty, healthy girls.
I love it.
Yes. I more than one time would lay down at night and just thank God to have healthy children.
Oh my gosh, that is my prayer every day.
Yes, right? And I mean, I had volunteered enough with Make-A-Wish before I had a family, and obviously just life in general, you know how, what a blessing to have healthy children. So Nora was fine. Started kindergarten. And that was 2020, the fall of 2024. Reese was second grade. And November of 24, Nora had a 10-day long headache. It was leading up to Thanksgiving, and I called the pediatrician.
And she never complained of headaches before?
No, on and off.
Okay.
On and off, but nothing consistent.
Because kids don't generally get headaches,
Yeah.
right?
Do
they?
Not typically.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
But
my kids
then
don't really.
At the same time, I remember someone saying, oh, I had migraines as a kid, and they started about this age.
Okay.
So she may have had a one-off headache.
Okay.
But, as a mom...
Right.
You're like, okay, well, she also fell off her scooter and I didn't have a helmet on her, right?
And did she drink enough water today? Is she overheated?
All of those things.
Right.
Yes. And so at the same time when we would have dinner, she started turning off the light. The light was bothering her eyes. But this child is playing indoor soccer at this point. She's doing taekwondo once a week, balance beams, flips, kicks.
How old is she at this point?
She is 5.
5.
She was 4 and turned 5 in September.
Okay.
And then by November, when she had this 10-day headache, she was 5, kindergarten, doing well. There were no other factors that would lead you to believe anything was major. So her pediatrician asked all those same questions. Well, she's eating, she's peeing, pooping, all the things, right? Yes. So I made an appointment for a pediatric neurologist, a specialist. And
Pediatrician suggested this, or you and your mommy nature?
both.
Okay.
Both. The pediatrician was a little bit difficult in taking me seriously. And then I did get in, and we both agreed we'll just do this to check the box.
Of course. And I want to pause here and really emphasize the need to be your own advocate for your children, for yourself. If you feel something is wrong, if a doctor says no, it's no big deal, but you feel like something is wrong, keep asking. Do not take no for an answer.
Correct.
Doctors are humans too.
That is right.
They make mistakes.
And they mean,
They mean well.
And we were talked out of doing a CT scan. Not that it would have found anything, who knows, because then you're exposing your child to radiation. And looking back,
right.
That's
hindsight's always 20/20.
Yes, that's right.
Right. And
yes,
you have to look at the positives and negatives and what outweighs.
Yes.
But it's hard. It's difficult. It's your child. And you have this professional telling you one thing and you're like, but something is off. Something is wrong.
Something is off.
So always get a second opinion.
Yes.
If you can.
We should have. And I think, no one, my husband and I, no one faults us.
No.
And we're not beating ourselves up over it, but we both still make comments to each other like, we should have. I think Brent more than me. What if we would have?
But God didn't have you for whatever reason.
That's right.
He didn't.
And it just is. It's just the way it is. We get into the specialist.
How long after the first initial?
That was
the headache.
The middle of December.
Okay. So November headache, December.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty quick now.
Yeah. Well,
nowadays
it was supposed to be in January, and I think I called a few times.
Yep.
Put us on the cancellation. You know how it is. Like if you call every day, you can get an appointment.
Be an advocate.
You have.
If the appointment, they book you out months in advance. Keep calling. I want to be on
accept it.
Nope.
No.
Want to get in sooner. When there's a cancellation, call me right away. We will move everything.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are like, yeah, but my appointment's not till June. I'm like,
That's right. The squeaky wheel does get the grease. I mean, I am absolutely.
Anybody that knows me is like, totally.
Yep. So we did get in the middle of December.
Awesome.
And we walk in with our bouncy, adorable little blonde kindergartner, and the specialist, flashlight in the eyes, does some neuro checks and says directly to us, well, I can tell you right now, it's nothing serious. Again, humans, right?
Correct.
So I don't fault the specialist. You can't. So we chalked it up. We ran the gamut on what has Nora done the last 3 to 4 months. Well, I mentioned the scooter incident with no helmet, right? So we just ran the gamut on what has she done? Could it be a mild
potentially
concussion?
could this be?
Yes. We chalk it up to a mild concussion from a head injury, and we're going to go to physical therapy. That's what we do the latter part of December. The very first physical therapy appointment we had, the physical therapist, her name was Emily, did Nora's appointment, and she said to me,
"Wait, what did they think physical therapy? What did they think it was?
A neck injury, a mild concussion neck injury.
Interesting.
So a little bit of light sensitivity, and some headaches. Nothing serious.
Okay.
It's just yes. Okay. And so I was like, okay, you can't imagine.
Did you still feel?
No, I felt like we were on the right track. I just, because I thought I was blowing things out of proportion. I talked myself, and I think Brent did too, because we do that as parents. You know how at the moment your baby arrives, you literally look at that life and all you can think of is, I have to keep you alive. And I think that just innate
1,000%
sense it never leaves you. No. And so you're looking at your seemingly healthy child, and in your brain, you're like, I am blowing this out of proportion.
Right. Everyone says she's fine.
Yes. I have professionals involved.
Yes.
She's fine.
Right.
We're going to physical therapy.
Yes.
I am watching her.
It's a mild concussion.
Yes. Wrestle with her dad on the floor and take him out. That type of thing, right?
Did you ever think cancer?
Never.
Nope. Same.
Never.
No, of course it's not. Not my daughter.
No
not my
way.
husband.
No way.
Nope. Other people's.
Yes, exactly. But no way. And you have people say now, and people that love you, but you're thinking the worst.
Yep.
You're thinking, don't think the worst.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
So what did the physical I interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. So Emily said, her tracking is off. I think you need to go to a physical therapist that specializes in brain injuries. So in that moment, I was like, perfect. We're going to see the best of the best.
Yep.
And we are getting the best care, and she's going to be great, and we're going to solve this problem.
Yes.
We're good. So that woman, Emily, I don't know her last name. I know what clinic she's in. Later, after Nora went to heaven, I did call and try to talk to her. And she is the only one of this whole journey that I'm describing to you before it was actually identified by an MRI. She is the only one who picked up on it. Not and no, again, I don't want to put any of our healthcare workers down. We know how treasured healthcare workers are. But not even the brain injury specialist, because later I looked back, well, she sees the worst of the worst.
Right. So then you went from physical therapy
to...
Yeah. And how quickly was that?
It was quick. We were in the next week. Emily sent a note.
Awesome.
We were into this physical therapist the next week, and we went for about a month and a half.
What did she think?
We just did, she worked on her neck. We did some tracking with her eyes.
Did she also see that she wasn't tracking?
Because we worked on those things, but I think that she did what she was trained to do.
I mean, they're not MDs.
Right. They're not, which was read. You're reading a timeline.
Right.
I mean, and I would say it too. Did you read Nora's chart before? Because we had several appointments where someone would walk in and had no idea what we were dealing with. And I would look at them. Well, did you read her chart?
Right.
So the fact that I think this person read her chart and she was going with a specialist and saw Emily's note of her not tracking and went with that.
Right.
I would love to go back to her now, but I just can't. I don't have it in me to have that conversation. Yeah.
Not yet.
And not in an accusatory way.
Of course not.
Just
an educational way.
Exactly. Because I'm sure she would say, tell me more so I can help the next family
person
that comes along.
Correct.
Right. So, so we graduated from physical therapy and we get into March.
Is she having headaches? Is Nora having headaches at this point? Or not really?
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, not really. And I the earlier I said 24, that was fall of 23. Okay. So now we are in 24. So I have to correct myself on that. Okay. So we are now into spring break, March of 2024, and things are fine.
Yeah.
We go to the farm, our family farm. The middle of March, Brent is traveling and the girls wanted to go fishing. We always go fishing at my cousin's pond. It's perfectly groomed. I call it fairy tale fishing because you throw in your cast your line and out pops a fish, and had the best afternoon. And typically Brent takes them fishing, but he was gone and fishing normally isn't my thing. I don't like to handle fish or worms, but I did. I was like, I got to show these girls.
Yes.
Who's the farm girl here?
Yes.
So the three of us go fishing and had the best afternoon.
I love
and
that.
Nora caught so many fish and she was rubbing it in her sister's face. And then Reese catches this huge bass. And it was just this magical moment.
Yeah.
And it was the moment I always remember. That's the before.
Yep.
The before diagnosis.
Yes.
So we wrap up. The weather was unusually warm that week. And we're headed back. And I just remember thinking, I have everything I have ever wanted. I have everything I've ever wanted. I have an amazing husband. I have healthy girls. We get to take that. We live in the city and we have so much opportunity here and so much access to education and activities that I never had in a town of 650. And we have money to do those things, which is such a blessing. And then we get to take them to everything, right? Everything.
Right.
And the next weekend, we come to the farm, and I am actually a beekeeper, whole other topic. So I'm at my beehives. Brent was building a fire with the girls, and Nora bent over to grab a stick and fell over. Now, the days leading up to that moment, I had seen her kind of lose balance. She fell one time coming up the sidewalk, and she comes in crying, and Reese is like, Nora fell again, and she was real whiny that week. At one point, I cracked a joke to Brent, I'm going to sell her to the circus, because you just think it's that age-appropriate, just developmental behavior. She's just off, right? And I got down on my knees, and I said, Nora, do you know you're going to fall? And she said, I don't know, Mama. And then 2 days later, we're at the farm and Brent sees her bend over to grab a stick and she falls. And he comes up to me and he said, something's not right. And we automatically went to the ER. We left the farm, drove back to St. Louis. We were in the ER. They did a CT.
Was Reese with you or did you leave her with your parents?
She stayed with our family at the farm. We did a CT and in the ER and nothing showed up.
In the CT.
We did and by the time we got to the ER, she was holding her left side, almost like you would see a stroke victim. She had her arm up here. And as her mother, I'm looking down thinking, am I seeing this? I'm making this up in my head. I remember thinking like, I'm making this up in my head. But her arm was kind of up on her side. And she was walking a little unsteady. Nothing was determined in the ER. And she's eating, talking, she's herself, but she's showing these neurological symptoms that weren't quite right. So we end up getting admitted over the weekend, could not get an MRI over the weekend. They checked all our brain signaling, nothing was showing up. And so Monday morning, we get the MRI scheduled. It's supposed to be about an hour. And An hour rolled into 2.
She's in the MRI machine.
She's getting the MRI. An hour rolls into 2.
And you guys aren't able to be in the room.
No, we're just walking around the hospital. And we walked in to ask if a little bit, how soon will she be out? And we were told they need a little bit longer. And then the 2 hours rolled into 3.
Were you guys?
Well, Brent looked at me and he said, this isn't good. And I said, I know, but I so naive, I guess, just thought there's going to be something wrong.
But we'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it.
Whatever it
I
is.
thought it'll be some type of just neurological issue that.
Right. We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
God's not going to give us something we can't handle.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly. And so we get word that she's out and that the neurologist wanted to meet us in her room. She was down in recovery.
Did they sedate her?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say, because I just had an MRI and I'm like, it's loud and intense. Scary and big and yeah.
Yes. Yes. And so
sweet girl.
For any child out there now that we're on this journey and I hear from a parent that their child is doing an MRI unsedated, I'm like, that is huge because we were never able to do very few MRIs where Nora wasn't sedated. It would have to be a quick MRI and there would be a mirror and we would touch her and she would have to be able, it was a whole thing. So yes, she definitely had to be sedated.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, she was terrified.
Right. Of course.
It's terrifying.
Who isn't? Right.
Right. And like you said, as an
are.
adult, I mean, if you just have some type of, shoulder injury is what I recently had to get an MRI for. And I cried through the whole thing because all I could think about was her.
Of course. Yes.
And it's just terrifying. So
it is similar. I just had an MRI and I was like being in that hospital and I was so comfortable there. I mean, anxious, but like everything, it's like all these memories come flooding back.
Yes.
Because we've spent so many hours there. So many scans.
And
so
you
many.
watched your loved ones suffer, or you watched them suffer.
Yes.
And
it's triggering.
it is so triggering. At the same time, you're caring for your loved one and your other children, and you're managing that communication with family. And it is
all of it comes back.
All of it. It's the tree of trauma.
Yes.
That we've talked about. The diagnosis is the trunk, and all of those branches start growing from there. So the neurologist wanted to meet us in her room. So we get up to her room and I peek out the door and I see the neurologist and his team with him. And he looked like he was on a warpath headed to our room. And I just thought, oh gosh, and he gets into the room and really didn't take a breath and said, it's as bad as it can be.
Those are the words that come out of his mouth.
It's as bad as it can be. And he proceeds to tell us, this is where it goes foggy for me, is exact wording. But I hear brain tumor and...
Oh, Jani.
I know that I screamed and my knees buckled and I went down and Brent caught me before I hit the actual floor. I know that he caught me. And I remember screaming just as loud as I could, screaming because I knew, I knew what that meant. It literally is a parent's, I think, worst
nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And then I just at some point remember, Brent helping me up and me saying, I got to get up. I got to get up. I just kept saying that, I think. And Brent helping me up. And then we made our way down to recovery. And
did the doctor say cancer? He just said brain tumor.
I really don't remember, Kira.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't. I am sure in that moment he told us what type of brain tumor, but that did not register. All I could think about is I knew they were in there 3 hours and he's saying brain tumor and this is I couldn't, it felt like a whole other world. So my best friend at that point was there, my best friend since third grade, and she was down in recovery. And we were in the room next to Nora while Nora was coming out, and I'm sobbing. And I just remember looking at her and saying, my baby may go to heaven before me.
Oh.
And I remember her saying, no, no. And the rest of the day is pretty foggy, other than I knew I had to pull it together. And I did. And we let our close friends and family know. And it was a joyous time in her hospital room that night. And the next 72 hours, it was getting an understanding of what it meant to get her into radiation. I had no idea.
You don't know?
No clue. I didn't know a mask fitting. I know if someone's listening to this that's had to go through this or had your loved one, it was all new for me. And I assume it probably is for most people.
Yeah.
So, traumatizing in itself.
Were you at Barnes? What hospital?
At that point, we were at Glennon.
Okay.
And so we got fitted for her mask. And in that initial 48 hours of trying to take in what type of brain tumor this is, what are we dealing with? It is called diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, known as DIPG, and the broader term now is DMG, so diffuse midline glioma. Same thing, same mutation. It's just it may be Nora's was in her brainstem, so in the pons of the brainstem. But a lot of children get them in their spine or different parts of the brain, and it is inoperable. It's diffuse, so that's what makes it inoperable. It spreads like glitter. So like for Nora, that's the grand central station of your brain, so even there's just no way they could ever go in to try and surgically remove it. It would destroy your body and all your function. So in that conversation with the oncologist at the time, he said to us, just go make memories. And, I sitting here today, I take a lot of fault with that. I have a huge issue with that statement. I don't think that is the statement you make to parents in those initial beginning days of devastating diagnosis. 9 to 12 months is what we were told. There's no standard of care outside of radiation for this type of brain tumor, and radiation is palliative. None of that my brain could not process that.
You can't comprehend that.
Not at all.
And palliative care is when they will treat a patient to try to keep them alive essentially as long as you can.
Correct.
So once, just for those of you that aren't familiar, and then once hospice is when they will not medically intervene.
Yep.
So
extend life. We're just trying to extend life comfortably.
And they won't do chemo?
No. Okay. So this brain tumor is a central nervous system brain tumor. And they have found that chemo doesn't break the blood-brain barrier. So chemo is not a standard of care for this type of brain tumor. So, so we spent the next 60 days researching on our own where we could get treatment for Nora. It's only trials. I remember early on actually laying in her hospital bed with her, Googling, she's sleeping, and I'm Googling because in 2024 at that time, how can you not find hope on the internet, right? You Google anything. If you're thinking something and you need to find a little hope for your
There's something.
situation, you're going to Google it and you're going to find something that's going to give you hope.
And that's what you hold on to. You're also going to find the negatives, but you got to focus on the positive.
You're going to focus, right?
Because there's always hope.
There's always hope.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I Googled and I Googled and I Googled. And I remember laying there thinking, how can I not find any hope? How can I not find any hope?
Right.
There was no article. There was nothing. And I remember thinking, well, we're going to make our own hope. And so that's what we did. There's very little help from the clinical world when you have this diagnosis and you're trying to find treatment. Brent was trying to work. He would go from a call about healthcare software to a call about saving his daughter's life. And then I would come down to the basement and do the call. We probably did anywhere from, 15-ish different calls with doctors around the world. And frequently we would be told different things from these amazing, brilliant researchers that were diving into this brain tumor. And we were told different things. And then it came down to trying to find a trial that would be best for her. There were two nurses at Glennon in their oncology clinic who were amazing, Mia and Tori, and they helped us. And then there's a nonprofit called Chad Tough. Chad Tough was started by Chad Carr's parents, and his brother is now the quarterback for Notre Dame.
No kidding.
So that's a whole, other side story here, but the fact that Chad's brother is now quarterback for Notre Dame has brought a lot of light to this diagnosis. So we're all thankful for that. But so we got hooked up with Chad Tough, the nonprofit that Chad's parents started, and they offer a free nurse navigator.
Awesome.
And the whole reason that they started the nonprofit, because there's no help. There's no help for when you get this diagnosis. And most of the help we received through this entire journey was primarily through bereaved parents, or parents in the fight. So we are trying to pick a trial and doing all these calls and taking notes, just the two of us. Had some help from really close friends and family, but primarily, it comes down to us. What are we going to decide?
Yep.
Our oncologist at the time suggested we put her in a trial in Chicago because it was close. And I was like, no.
We're going to get her into the best study.
If there's a study in China that
we'll go to China.
Like, I don't need a close flight.
No.
So that really rubbed us the wrong way. Ultimately, we parted ways with that oncologist in giving that person grace. These doctors have seen this diagnosis. They know it's quick. And I understand that. There's so much more education that needs to be done. And when a family is diagnosed, there needs to be help with resources. We were fortunate that the two nurses took it upon themselves to help us.
Amazing.
But there was no obligation on their part.
Yeah.
It was just they wanted to help
out of the
us.
goodness of their heart.
And so, I found a lot of fault with don't tell me to put my child. She would have been number one in a virus trial. Putting my 6-year-old as number one in a trial, a virus trial in Chicago because it's close. That's not okay.
Nope.
So it came down to CAR T in Seattle or Stanford, and we went with Stanford. These CAR T trials are different, and there are different targets for this brain tumor. So you have to decide that. You're looking at the biopsy that they did of Nora's brain tumor, and we're getting all these mutations.
And you guys aren't science people.
No, that's what I was just going to say. This is all foreign. You're getting a report on a biopsy, and there is nothing recognizable on this sheet of paper.
It's a foreign language.
It is a foreign language. So you're Googling, you're leaning on nonprofits, you're leaning on bereaved parents, some bereaved parents who are scientists, thank God, who can talk you through it. So we went with Stanford. Now Stanford does chemo with their CAR T treatment. Seattle didn't. Everything was different about these two trials. we prayed. What else can you do?
What do you do?
You don't know.
Right.
There's no doctor.
Right.
It is literally, you're doing an interview, you're asking a lot of questions, and you pray and hope you've picked the right one. That meant separating our family. We went there in July of 24 and got all of the pre-work done and started CAR T on August 1st of 2024. And what CAR T is they pull your blood out. They grab the lymphocytes, the T cells, and they re-engineer those T cells
Wow.
to then be put back directly into the fourth ventricle in your brain. And that's a direct line to the tumor to fight it. So, but again, I will stress that the institutions that are doing CAR T today, they are all doing it different. So Stanford, the first treatment is 10 million CAR T cells. The next treatment is 30 million. And the third treatment is 50 million. You could interview another institution and you will find out, but only I know to ask these questions now, but a parent interviewing would never know.
You don't know what you don't know.
The next institution I found out, well, they do 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. And that sounds like a lot until you talk to Stanford and understand they're doing 10 million with chemo, 30 and 50, right? So it made her very, very sick, very sick. She did lose her hair, whole other traumatic experience for her. Nora was a girly girl. So there was a lot of tears and a lot of building up. You're learning a lot as a parent on really reminding your child what's important. Hair will grow back.
It will grow back.
Hair is not important. We get fun wigs. We can do all these things. Here are other children
who don't have hair
are doing hard things.
Yes.
And we had some really amazing teenagers in our life. The SLU football team at the time. Nora has Nora's brother, Jack. So his brother on his mom's side, Patrick, played for SLU High School, was on the high school football team. So the Coach Cruz and that team shaved their heads, and Nora was there. She got to be a part of that. The day started, and we had come back from California at this point. It was a very short stint of going through treatment, being very sick. And then we come back and the SLU football team wanted us to come. And so we were just going to shave a few heads that day. And ultimately, I think we shaved like close to 35 heads. So there were a lot of high school boys that went home to their mothers
with shaved heads.
With shaved heads. And I know their mothers did not know.
God bless
so
them. Those
things, and I just share if, for listeners that, that mattered to Nora.
Of course it
did. And that, the fact that these teenagers did that for her, it was a big deal. The local news covered it. And actually NBC Nightly News, the weekend edition, covered it as well. The boys shaving their heads and what it meant for Nora. So we went back for round 2, and when we got back and did the MRI, it was successful. The tumor had shrunk.
Amazing.
Yes. And we felt good, right? And the whole time we're praying and I really just dug into my faith. I was very mad at God, very, very angry, but
understandable.
In those moments I would say to myself, you know what, if I'm mad, then I still believe. And I believe, but I am very mad and I do not understand this at all.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you here, if you can just tell us briefly, how is Reese doing throughout all of this?
So,
and
yeah,
her brother Jack.
Yeah. No, great. I'm glad you asked that. So Reese, during this, is staying with my brother and sister-in-law, and then our really close family, or not family, but like family, Tom and Kelly, more like her grandparents. So we had a pretty strict schedule set up to try and keep her life as normal as it could be. And our little small Catholic school in New City, the parents, it was an insane community lifting Reese up and doing everything they could to keep her life
as normal as possible. Cancer affects the entire family and the ripple effect.
Yes. Our principal at the time, the teachers, they were just so protective of her.
I love that.
And she was just so loved and cared for by our family.
Yeah.
But Reese is quiet. Reese doesn't share feelings. Nora, I always said Nora was like the Bob Costas of her own feelings.
Sweet girl.
You never, as I said, when she was born, you never had to wonder what she wanted, what she was thinking. She shared it all.
Okay. Love it.
Reese does not.
Okay.
And so the moment we left for California, she started counseling, and we, again, such a blessing. Her counselor still in her life today, and she confides more to her counselor still today than us.
Awesome.
She probably confides more in one session than she has to us collectively.
Right.
And that's great.
Yeah.
She's just quiet.
Yeah.
So,
so you go back for the second treatment.
We go back for the second treatment. And, here I feel like I'm not mothering Reese because I'm not with her. And I can't do anything to make it better for Nora. And we do the second treatment, shrunk a little bit. This was the end of September. So I'm going to stop here because we're still in California and we're coming up on Nora's birthday. And the hospital staff knew how important it was to get her out of the hospital for her birthday, which was September 26th. And in the middle of our stay, our amazing child life specialist said, Nora, would you like to write a book? Well, of course she would. Nora's dream was to be a writer, and she was going to write about her friend Carson going to space. Carson is her good buddy in her class. So, yes, she was all about writing a book. So Joy, our child life specialist, sits down with Nora, and Nora articulates every word to this book. I mean, it was just in her head.
Yeah,
just every word. And Nora titles this book Sparkle of Love. The character in the book is a unicorn named Heart Lover who gets sick. She loses sparkle in her horn. She has to go to the hospital on a rainbow cloud and to get unicells in her horn. And Heart Lover is very worried she's going to be in the hospital on her birthday. I'm not going to tell you the ending. I don't want to ruin it. So this is articulated, and the goal would be to publish this book. There's an amazing nonprofit, Books That Heal, and they help sick kids get their books published. So we did that, and then we moved on. And what we moved on to was getting Nora better to get out of the hospital by her birthday. So we get out of the hospital on the evening of September 25th. And at the hotel, Nora had 3 little friends and their moms flew to California to surprise her.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
I know. And so we went to eat at our favorite burger joint. And
Which was?
Oh my gosh, what's Gott's?
Okay.
Right in Palo Alto, the burger place. And the best milkshakes ever. And that was our favorite spot when we were in and out of the hospital. And so I did a little interview with Nora, and I was like, Nora, this is the night before you turn 7. What advice do you have for kids doing hard things? And it's on our Instagram page, and I would just encourage everyone to go watch it because she talks about God.
Sweet girl.
Yeah, you have to. She makes a comment about believing in God and trusting Him every day, respecting Him every day. And then at the end of this video, just completely unprompted, it caught me off guard. She ends it with, "And everybody knows that Jesus is in your heart." Yeah, and that video has carried us through to me saying here today. So then we go to the hotel, and her friends surprise her, and we had the best weekend with her little friends. And then we wrap up our stay in California. We get back to St. Louis the 1st of October, and she just clinically started going downhill. We ended up in Children's. We had to basically take a emergency flight to California. Her tumor had started collecting fluid, so that was creating a lot of very uncomfortable neurological symptoms for her, vomiting and nausea, and just awful. There are only less than 5 at that time neurosurgeons in the country that could actually stick a port into the tumor and drain it and pull that liquid off. It's obviously a very, very sensitive procedure. So we were able to get her back to Stanford in the middle of October. And
no one at Siteman Children's?
No,
okay.
It's
and you were at Siteman, correct?
We
at this point?
Okay. Yes, yeah. And the team is amazing, but the neurosurgeon there was on the phone with our Stanford team. There was so much back and forth,
yeah.
and they're doing everything they could to help us. But you know, this tumor is impossible, quite frankly. And so we had to. Our best bet was to get her stable. We paid for first class tickets. There's no way we could fly her coach. And we were able to get to Stanford and went straight to the ER, which is just traumatic in itself, right? She's so sick. We take this flight, and Brent and I are both, when did we tell her? We land and we go straight to the hospital. It's hugely traumatic. We get to the hospital 2 a.m. They couldn't access her port. I mean, it's just trauma on top of trauma. On top of trauma. And we knew that last CAR T was a Hail Mary. And you know, I never quit praying. I never quit asking God for a miracle. But we knew that our backs were against the wall. And the team did too. The team at Stanford did too. And this whole time, Brent was pushing to get her book finished. So, you know, we're going through all this. I did not care about that book. And I'm so thankful that he did. He knew. My husband has a lot of intuition on things that I don't. I'm so grateful. It's just been such a treasure to us.
Yeah.
So he's pushing for this book. I am devastated, keeping this mom face on. I had a brain tumor mom tell me early in the journey, don't you ever cry in front of your child. And you know what? That was the best advice.
Okay.
It was the best advice.
Okay.
She said, and I was actually her son's wish granter. His name's Colin, and he's doing well. He did survive his brain tumor, but he has a lot of
And this was before your daughter got cancer. You happen to be this child's.
Yes, I was his wish granter. And then, yes,
wow.
So it kind of went full circle. So when Nora was diagnosed, I reached out to Becky, and Becky's amazing. She is strong. And she said to me, don't you dare cry in front of her. And she gave me an example of the one time that she cried in front of Colin. And what she meant was, in the procedures, in the thick of it all, you know, I mean,
right.
And I followed that advice, and I never broke in front of Nora. And I am thankful for that advice, because that child needed to see that her dad and I had this. She was terrified. And there were so many times and so many procedures where the clinical teams meant well, but when you're in that trial, and it is for data. You know, it is not, we were told this is not to save your child's life. This is for data.
Wow.
So, so many teams come around, and we had a plan with our child life specialist, because Nora, the moment people started coming in her room, she was her own best advocate. Why are you in my room? If it was the person to clean her room or a renowned scientist, why are you in my room? She taught me how to be a better advocate for her. So it didn't matter who walked in her room. I don't care what your resume looks like. You kindly share why you were in this room. This is our space. You don't get to walk into it unless you share why you were in our room.
Okay.
Yes. And so she taught us so much in those moments, but everything we did was just so so hugely traumatic for her. So we get through that last round of CAR T, and she was not doing well. And we knew that we had to get her home. And the Stanford team was on board with getting her home by Halloween. And so we flew her home on October 31st of 2024, knowing that we were done with CAR T. And Brent had already started contacting some overseas clinics to look into other treatments. And there was also a drug at the time that was only on trial in the United States, but could be purchased through a company in Germany. So we started buying that drug in November out of pocket, about $6,000 a month. And and we're fortunate that we could, and we had so much support, and we had
and
people,
you would have gone into debt to do that.
100%. And all the travel and everything that we did. We had people we were so fortunate. We had people just giving us money so we could continue to provide joy to our family. Brent ended up taking FMLA, to care for us. And then Nora's needs became so great. And then we start buying this out-of-pocket drug that was on trial, but we did not qualify. So there was a mule basically bringing it over from Germany once a month. This person was flying for an airline. So she would pick it up in Germany, bring it stateside, and then overnight it to us wherever she would land. And we weren't the only family doing this, but this is how it works with this diagnosis. Again, I stress it's bereaved families and families in the fight supporting each other more so than the clinical world, because it's such an underfunded, under-researched brain tumor.
Because the prognosis isn't good. So yes,
that's right. There's no money in it for pharmas in the last several years to research and study. So at that point, we decided to do re-radiate. The doctors approved to do a second round of radiation, and she's on this drug at the time called ONC201. It is now approved in the United States. The FDA brought it in last August, so families don't have to do that anymore, but at the time we did. And clinically, she just never really recovered, and we hit Christmas. There were days, nights, Brent and I were trading off sleeping with her and caring for her and thinking, is she going to make it to the next morning? Trying to keep Reese's life as stable as possible, and really just dying inside, not able to help our child. I was doing 3-4 different therapies with her, speech, OT, PT. We were trying to get her in the pool and keep her body moving. Nora was so smart, and she loved to learn. So where we're trying to fit in education, at that point we had our kindergarten teacher and our principal just offering to come to our home.
Amazing.
It was just amazing. It really was.
Yeah.
Then I realized I can't keep up the schedule of all these different appointments and therapy. It's wearing her out. It's wearing me out. Brent's trying to work. She at this point is 60 pounds, trying to get her in and out of the car. She's in a wheelchair at this point, losing mobility. It seemed like every few days in different parts of her body. We started going to Rankin Jordan, and they were such a blessing. I could go on and on about how they really worked to get all our appointments together. So just a few trips a week. And I told our therapist later, and in that time, that was January of 25. And it just felt like there was no hope. And those therapists gave us hope. I would take Nora there, and they treated her like the bulldog she was.
Yes.
They did not let her manipulate, because even though she had a brain tumor and she was so sick, that girl still tried to manipulate when she started losing speech, and we had to use I mean, she was just so smart and such a just a
Spitfire,
little
sounds like.
feisty Spitfire.
I love it.
Yes. And so February hits, and my dear friend Liz wanted to take me to listen to Savannah Guthrie speak at the St. Louis Public Library for her book, Mostly What God Does Is Love You. And of course, she asked me, and I thought, well, I don't really feel like God loves me right now. And I really did not want to leave the house. And my husband was like, no, you're going just to get out of the house, if anything. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go. And I also didn't really care to hear what Savannah Guthrie had to say. So I go, and it was February 17th-ish. And God spoke to me that night, and as kind of comical almost as it sounds through Savannah Guthrie. I firmly believe that woman sat on stage and talked about her faith in such a humble way, and just kept driving home through examples and her real life experiences. If you just let God love you, if you just let God love you, and you open your heart, it will change your life. It won't keep you from having to do hard things, but just everything she said, it truly felt like God was speaking to me. And I left listening to her that night, and her words talking about God, not about herself, how God had impacted her life. I knew that Nora would be saved, but not in the way that we had prayed. And I left, I guess the best way to describe it is with my broken heart open. I exposed it, and I feel like I did let God start loving me that night and let go of my anger, and I just knew. And so 3 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, we took Nora to Rankin on a Monday. She did therapy. She was barely speaking, barely moving, and she earned a Target gift card that day for achieving her goals. And the next day, we had to cancel therapy. That was a Tuesday. We laid around on the couch all day, and Brent said, Nora, it was early evening, we'll take you anywhere. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And Reese was somewhere happy playing, so it was just the three of us at home. Where do you want to go? And Target. She wanted to go use that Target gift card.
Yes, ma'am.
We went to Target. She knew exactly what she wanted. We bring her gifts home and open them. We have the sweetest picture of these little kitties, stuffy kitties around her. And it was really the last time we got to see her smile. And then that Wednesday, so that would have been March the 5th, we had hospice, of course, involved at that point.
At that point, you had hospice?
Yes.
You knew?
Yeah.
How long had a husband been
not
hospice?
Long, 2 weeks. So really, yeah, probably 2 weeks, not long. It was the Wings program through BJC, and they were wonderful. I just, their guidance and their professionalism and how those ladies are able to do what they do for our family was just amazing.
They're angels.
They are angels.
From God,
and they were at our beck and call and made sure Nora was comfortable. Brent actually has a nursing background from years ago. So he was pretty comfortable with caring for her in those final stages of her life, and I was not. And so March the 6th, we had several close family come over. Her favorite babysitter, Mia, came over, and she fluttered her eyelids. And then that evening, we all decided we were going to sleep in the living room. So Brent brought down our mattress, and we got her comfortable. And, there was a big debate in our home. Should Reese sleep in her own bed or sleep in the living room? Jack was going to go sleep in his own bed. And I said, well, I think she should sleep in her own bed. This is traumatic. We'd ask her if she wanted to go with family. No, she wanted to stay with us. And of course, I'm questioning it. I don't want to traumatize her more. And nope, and Brent's like, that's her choice. She is mature for her age. And then, I was like, no, Reese, you need to go to bed. I said, Brent, she's, we're probably going to lose her overnight. I think Reese, no, I think it should be her choice. So
You knew the end was near.
Yes. Yes. And so Brent went upstairs and asked Reese, do you want to come down? And I'm laying with Nora on the mattress in the living room, and Reese comes down the stairs. And in that moment, it was totally like, she looked at me, Reese did, I won. She smiled.
Look at me go.
You look at me. She smiled real big, and I just shook my head, and I'm holding Nora. But in several years, when Reese is older, I will be anxious to have the conversation with her about this night. And if she even knew why she chose to come down, knowing
Right.
what was likely going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
And Reese got real cozy. And I was cozy with Nora, and Brent was cozy. And within 10 minutes, we got to put Nora in Jesus' arms.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You were holding her.
Yeah.
Oh, Janie.
She was actually just, I had my arms on her, and Brent was on the other side, and Reese was on the couch and was touching her. And,
oh my gosh.
yeah. So we got to put her in Jesus' arms. And, Reese's choice, and Jack was there too. Jack came up. It took a while for the proper folks to arrive, and so we put Nora's favorite outfit on her, and Brent really was just the best example to our children of handling that situation. I don't even really have the right words other than just the grace he showed our children. And talking Reese through it, we're going to put our favorite Hello Kitty outfit on her, and we're going to clean her up. And yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So in the middle of all that, the part I left out was Nora's book was published, titled Sparkle of Love. And in the middle of this whole story that I just shared, that's where Mary Caltrider came in, heard about Nora's book, covered Nora's book, covered a signing we did at her school.
I love it.
Of course, the book's called Sparkle of Love. And so, we knew after we, no matter how our story ended with Nora, and we knew that we would pay it forward. We had so much love and support, and this journey is just so devastating for families that get diagnosed. I mean, any pediatric cancer is devastating, but especially the brain tumor journey, and especially rare brain tumors like DIPG, DMG. So that's where a few months later we started Nora's Sparkle of Love project. And we have been able to help so many pediatric cancer families, not just brain tumor, but any pediatric cancer, with bills and
amazing
family support, sibling support, all of the above. Yep.
I love that.
We've contributed to research, $35,000 check last year.
Amazing.
To purchase equipment for a joint venture between the KU Cancer Center and Children's Mercy to study DIPG.
Amazing.
And we have a few other research projects in the works that we want to fund this year. And then Brent's idea, all him, is therapy dogs were such a huge part of our journey in the hospital setting, doing hard things, that we started a $150,000 endowment at St. Louis Children's to support and grow their facility dog program.
I love that.
So we're super proud of that. And then I actually, here in a few weeks, am going to start touch therapy training with our dear friends, the Boyce family. They have a chocolate lab. Her name's Ruby. And so Ruby and I are going to start touch therapy training, and hopefully she'll be able to if Ruby can get the hang of it and I can get the hang of it, then she will be Nora's Sparkle of Love Project Touch Therapy
Oh, I
pup.
love that.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
So when I go speak with grade schools, wherever Brent and I are doing a lot of speaking with the foundation just to have a touch therapy pup in tow softens the message it makes it, having a dog in the room, an animal for anything is great, but let alone when you're doing hard things. So
yes,
oftentimes, especially like accessing a port for Nora was extremely traumatic. And Brent and I were parents, were coaches, advocates, having to tell these sweet nurses, no, you need to wait 5 minutes. We are not ready. But then that therapy dog could come in the room and it was a lift for everyone, for Nora, for us, for the healthcare staff.
Yeah.
So
it cuts the tension a little bit.
It absolutely does. So we really hope to see more
I love that.
dogs in the hospital setting. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So
I mean, Jani, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and being so vulnerable. And I know from our personal conversations, it's not every day is a challenge. You're in the mud right now.
Yes, I am.
And all we can do together is one foot in front of the other, right? And know that God is in control.
For sure.
He's got this. And Nora's life is going to change so many.
It is.
It has and will continue.
Yes.
Her legacy will live on because of what you guys are doing.
Yes. I firmly believe, as hard as it is to say, I said my mom was tough. She raised me to be tough. And I believe that I was built for this journey.
Yeah.
I do.
I know. It's a tough pill to swallow and to comprehend and admit. But I feel the same way. I feel it's a calling.
Yes.
We were called to be who we are today.
We did not pick it.
No.
If you would have put A, B, and C in front of us, it wouldn't have been this.
Nope. Life would not look like this.
No.
And it takes courage to continue to live on and to do good with what you've been dealt. So let me ask this. So one quick question, and then I'll ask you one final question. We need to wrap up here, but you can find Nora's book on Amazon.
You can,
Okay?
yes.
It's called Sparkle of Love.
Sparkle of Love.
Nora Bunn, by Nora Bunn.
Correct.
Okay. And then your foundation is called?
Nora's Sparkle of Love Project.
Okay.
And there's a website, and you can find it under all social media channels.
Okay. And then the Instagram people should go to?
Nora's Sparkle of Love Project.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. One final question for our viewers. And this is probably going to be tough, but I ask all my guests if they could pick one thing that you want them to leave with. One statement, one word. What would it be?
Well, that is a tough question. Believe in prayer. Believe in the power of prayer. I can think of a few different things, but I think in this moment, lean in and pray.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kira.
Truly, you are a gift, and I'm very blessed to know you, and so grateful that you came on today. And just know this is going to change lives. It really is. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you to all of those who have watched and listened today and will watch and listen. Thank you for your time. And if you know anybody that's going through this or has been through this that you think can benefit from this show, please send it to them. And if you want to get in touch with Jani, please reach out via their Instagram, their website, their foundation if you'd like to donate and continue to make a difference. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Yes We Can podcast. We'll see you next week, 10 a.m.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the in spa.